that's a little touchy. So if you saw that, we're going to talk about that officer who is now serving 27 years in prison. So
as he should be.
Make sure and watch this. All right, welcome back. So this episode was a suggestion of our viewers. So if you want us to cover any episode, if you want to cover any topic, especially law enforcement related, please let us know. And we'll look into it. And when I got this in a comment, I'm like, oh, let me look at this. And
was it a nice comment or was it?
No,
it was. Why don't you do this?
No,
one?
It was. Hey, can you look into this case?
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
So that's
you
why.
Don't remember who made the comment, so we can give him a shout out.
It was a million. I mean, we have a zillion comments.
I would have wrote that down, but
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I might have had a few.
Hey, before we get rolling here with the whole meats and potatoes and everything of the car. Wanted to announce we have a sponsor. A partner now. It is Warrior Me Charity, and they are a nonprofit. And what they do is cancer patients. They will take them on an adventure that is completely free to the cancer patient. They will take them to SeaWorld, Disney World, someplace like that. It's kind of like Make-A-Wish, but not as massive as Make-A-Wish. But guys, these people do great things, and they allow these folks to go out and enjoy this adventure. They don't have to worry about doctor bills and and all this stuff while they're on their adventure for the Central Florida area. If you guys want to help out these cancer folks that go out and have this adventure, look at the link down below in the comments. Camille's added it in there. 50% of every penny that you donate goes to Warrior Me Charity. The other 50% goes to the beer moment, equipment, ammo, whatever we need for the show to make it even better and better and better. So we appreciate each and every one of you out there that are donating. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I failed to mention this, but welcome back to Surviving the Badge Bar. So, Officer Giovanni Crespo, a few years on the job with Newark Police Department, July.
In Jersey.
Yeah, Newark, New Jersey, January 28th, 2019. And it's important that you remember this date, January 28th, 2019, this incident occurred. It was a traffic stop for speeding. Somebody was through Newark, and they stopped this car. And while they're out with this vehicle, one of the officers spots a gun in the car. And they start, doing law enforcement action. The guy takes off.
Turn it off. Turn off the car and roll down the window. Open the door. Get me that other unit. Open the window. Open the door.
What's up?
I got a 646. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands. Hands on the wheel. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands on the wheel. The car's off.
Flees. And Officer Crespo he's in pursuit. He's helping. He called his backup. So he's stopped. And at 3 different times, the vehicle actually stops. And each of the 3 times, this Officer Crespo jumps out of the vehicle, and I'm going to show you the videos here, and tries to engage the
occupants and
the occupants of the vehicle.
Right.
The third time, he goes up and he fires several shots into the vehicle. They finally got this vehicle stopped, and the
What do
driver.
we call that?
I'm sorry.
What do we call that? What's that commonly referred to as? I'm gonna stump.
I was on patrol 3 weeks. Okay.
I'm gonna stump Einstein over here.
You mean shooting into a vehicle?
No, when you
Deadly
jump
force?
out and you're freaking.
I don't know. I'm lost.
Chase hate.
Oh, okay. I got you. I understand what
Which
you're
is
saying.
why
Yeah.
they don't
Okay.
like the first initial officer that's been in the chase the longest to contact the suspects, if at all possible, to make that first contact, because their adrenaline is absolutely through the frickin' ceiling. And by that time, they're so pissed off because this guy's broke so many laws, put so many lives in danger and everything else, that they tend to do some crazy stuff, but that doesn't warrant what this guy did. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so
Just wanted to give him a background on what that is.
I appreciate that. So this third time, the officer fires several rounds into the vehicle, and ultimately killing the driver and injuring the passenger. They investigate this, and they actually charge the officer with a crime, and they put him on trial for this action. So before we go into a little more of the meat and potatoes, let's talk about our beer today. What do we got, LT?
Man, we have a show favorite. We have featured this beer probably about 5 or 6 times.
It's so good.
It is just so freaking good. It is Bold City Brewery, and they are out of Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, Betty. And it is Duke's Cold Nose Brown Ale. I think we actually had this on 2 shows over the last month.
Yeah.
We just freaking love it. We absolutely love it. It is a darker ale, hence the name Brown Ale. As you can see in our glasses here, mine's a little frosted. Yeah, so is yours a little bit. But man, this is a very good beer. And like last show, whenever we did this, I'm gonna give it like an 8.75.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I gave it an 8.5 or a 9, but yeah, it's 8.75 easy.
It is.
It's an amazing
one
beer.
of the best beers we've had on the show, and we absolutely love it. And we're dark beer likers anyway, so and lagers.
Yep. So this beer is brought to us by our sponsor, and here is a quick word from them.
Contact Mainstreet Realty for all your real estate needs. This power team includes Tom Clem, a veteran Marine and retired law enforcement professional.
All right. If you want to sponsor the show and support the show in any way, we have a pay link down below. It's through Square. And as LT mentioned earlier, 50% of everything that you send to support the show goes to a Warrior and Me charity.
But if you want to be a sponsor, like a recurring sponsor that gets your ad and your name out there, and you want to do that, just contact us on our retired cops rule at Gmail, and I'll work with you and we'll set something up differently than just, donating. So let us know if you want to be an actual...
And it might be a good thing because we get about 5,000 views an hour.
Yeah, we do. And we're up to 19...
We're not donut operator, who awesome donut operator. He's a million.
Oh my God, yeah, millions.
But we're getting there.
Almost 18,000 subs now?
Yeah.
And like he said, that many views.
So
anyway, go ahead.
So what they decided to do, they decided to charge Officer Crespo with aggravated manslaughter and aggravated assault in this case.
Because there's 2 victims.
2 victims, right. So the body camera sees him jumping out and shooting at these individuals, and the Essex County prosecutor stated that there was state guidelines allow deadly force only if an officer or someone else is in imminent danger or death, serious bodily injury. What case law is that?
Tennessee versus Garner.
Yeah. So
fleeing felon law.
And what the state argued was they were fleeing. They were driving away, and even though they had a gun in the car, they were not posing a deadly threat to anybody else.
And he was alongside of the vehicle, so they weren't trying to run him over.
Right.
And we've had several cases that we've done on this show where they are literally trying to run the cop over or almost running him over. Hell, we had one where the cop had to jump up on the damn hood to save his own life and pumped rounds into the car.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Now, what the officer said when he took the stand is that one of the occupants pointed the gun at him
Right.
while he was standing beside, and that if that happened, we weren't there.
Right.
If that happened, that would have justified
It would have.
the use of force.
Crespo has since been suspended by the Newark Police Department and faces charges of aggravated manslaughter and assault. Defense attorney Patrick Toscano focused his questioning on Crespo's response.
Did you recklessly shoot at these two people? Look at the jury.
No.
But the prosecution drew to the jury's attention that was not mentioned in his report.
Right.
Only shoot at the driver of a moving vehicle if there is an imminent danger and no other means to avert the danger. Correct?
Yes.
Crespo shot into the vehicle at 3 different locations after initially stopping it for speeding. It was late at night and the windows of the car he shot at were tinted, but Crespo says he could still see a gun inside.
So, he says it on the stand, but doesn't mention it in the
Well,
report.
and
That's an issue. That's going to be a problem.
And his testimony was coached, like is every single witness by every single, prosecutor. I mean, not prosecutor, but defense attorney. You're going to be coached as to what not to say or to say. And he was coached to say, hey, I saw a gun. It was pulled, whatever. I'm not saying there wasn't a gun in the car because, in fact, they found a gun in the car.
They did find a gun in the car, yes.
So there was a gun in the car. And
It's not like he made it up out of whole cloth.
Right. And it was probably seen on the initial traffic stop when they walked up there. The officer said, gun, 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 and they all took off.
Yep.
But what we're saying is, unless he pulled the gun or one of the individuals in the car pointed the gun at the officer at the time he was next to the vehicle or behind the vehicle, that this is not warranted to fire into a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
We couldn't fire into a moving vehicle at all unless
Per
our
policy.
life was in danger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, his body camera doesn't show the gun pointing at him.
Was that dark tinted windows?
Right. If the windows were down and we saw the
You
gun,
could have seen this. He's free and clear.
Absolutely.
He's walking out. He's got a couple weeks off
Yep.
to deal with the shooting, and he's right back to work again.
Yeah.
But I don't think so in this case, man.
It doesn't seem like it, but like I said, we weren't there. Maybe he did see it through the front windshield.
It'll come out in appeal because he's filing an appeal.
So speaking of appeal, a great segue. So he lost his first appeal.
He did?
He
Okay, I didn't
lost
know
his
that.
first request for a new trial. And this is where, remember I said, remember the date? January 28th, 2019?
Correct.
So he had requested a new trial because there was a law that was changed in New Jersey. And the law said that when an officer is in an officer-involved shooting, another county or another entity must be the prosecutor, not locally. It has to be from another
So
county.
they didn't change the venue.
So they did not change the venue. It also said that, the new state law also requires a change of venue in police officer-involved shootings. But guess what? This law took place 2 days after the incident. And they said that it's not retroactive. So because he was prosecuted in the county that it happened, they said, no, the law didn't change yet. When the incident occurred, the law was the law. 2 days later, it was different.
Yeah, but when he went to trial, it was already different. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I 100%.
So why wouldn't you just say, okay, yeah, the incident occurred here. However, the trial is going to occur on this date.
Yep.
New law says this, change the venue. I don't think it would have changed the outcome anyway.
The judge disagreed with the defendant it said in February 28th opinion, the judge wrote that the legislature made it clear that the new law would take effect on January 30th, 2019, not a day before. And when did this happen?
January
28th. Yeah.
But
2 days.
But
2 days.
It say in the writings that you put on it, did it say the incident or the trial?
The investigation. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got you.
Unfortunately. So the law was that.
So they did iron that out then, I guess. Or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
he
right.
lost by 2 days.
He crashed into the house.
Get on the grass! Changing! 99, shots fired!
Getting
Oh,
a new
wow.
trial. Law is a law. I get
Law's
it.
a law.
Yeah. So, we already talked about if you thought it was a good shoot. If there was no imminent danger of him and somebody else being threatened by the gun, we don't think it's a good shoot.
Correct.
And I want to point this out. A lot of people are like so anti-cop. I think we are the fairest. I don't know how many cop podcasts there are, but you and I are the fairest people out there.
Dude,
because
we call by the letter of the law.
we call it balls and strikes.
And here's the other comment. Okay, let me ask you this. What's qualified immunity?
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Here, that's okay. When we talked about the airman getting
Yeah.
shot, the senior airman in Florida,
Guilty.
we thought it was a bad shoot.
Bad shoot.
Guilty, not guilty, whatever. That's not our job. That's the jury. But
Bad shoot.
we called it as we lived it for 20 to 35 years. We know. And I think we're pretty fair on it. And all these knuckleheads that, hate cops or whatever, I think we are as fair as can be.
Absolutely.
Now, you were asking...
And we get a lot of comments, oh, well, they do this because they have immunity. Do away with qualified immunity. Do away with immunity. What's qualified immunity,
so
Camille?
qualified immunity is protection, and you can correct me. You were a lieutenant, but my understanding is as long as I am operating under the color of the law, that I am protected by the law. If I'm, if somebody points a gun at me, I'm a police officer, points a gun at me, and I fire and I shoot and I kill them, come to find out that it's a toy gun, a BB gun that looks exactly like a gun, I'm not going to be charged
because the law says if I was in imminent danger of losing my life, or
Right.
or I thought I was,
Right.
and that's pretty easy to freaking tell.
Yep.
Then I operated under the color of law. Therefore, I have qualified immunity.
Now,
But if I did
if I
an
walk up,
illegal act,
if I walk up to somebody and they're got their hands at 10 and 2, and I pull out a gun and I shoot them,
or they answer their door with a gun down at their side, and I just pull my weapon and start firing, which happened in the airman case, then I am not qualified immunity. I am not covered under that because I
Right.
did not act under the color of law.
Yep.
So all of you commenters that are saying, qualified immunity, do away with it. No, if you do away with it, you're not going to have any cops, because I'll tell you one thing, if they did away with that, there ain't a damn day one extra I would have done in that job. As soon as
Hell
they would have
no.
done away with that, I'd have walked out the door and quit.
Yep,
And
because-
you will have 98% of the cops that are out there right now, if you do away with qualified immunity, because they were acting legally and they're covered under the qualified immunity, they're not anymore, they're gone. They're going to quit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these knuckleheads think that cops have absolute immunity.
Immunity to everything.
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
qualified.
look at any of these cases that have gone through the courts. The one where on the neck, the knee on the neck. Yeah.
George
anyway.
Floyd.
Huh?
George Floyd.
George Floyd. He was convicted
Absolutely.
because he
Outside of the
wasn't acting outside of the law.
Yep.
No qualified immunity saved his ass,
Exactly.
and it shouldn't have.
No.
So, I mean, hey, we appreciate the comments very much. We like the comments very much. We try to interact as much as we can. But the comments about, do away with immunity because it gives cops carte blanche. BS. It does not.
With the microscope that's under law enforcement, Yeah, no. So many cops are being charged nowadays, and if you've committed a crime, be charged. I have no problem
Absolutely. You
whatsoever.
should be charged.
You be
Absolutely.
fired. You be charged
Yep.
whatsoever. But
Absolutely.
With this guy back on our case, it doesn't look good. It's one of those cases that if he did see a gun, there's no proof of it. And
Right.
the jury can only go by what there is.
And you know
proof
what?
of.
If he saw a gun and there's no proof of it, and he really actually saw a gun, I feel bad for the guy.
And the issue is he would have put it in his report.
But I don't think he saw a gun.
It
I really
doesn't
don't,
seem
because
like
let me tell
it.
you something.
I don't know this guy. I've never
I
met
don't
him.
either. I don't either. And I don't know anybody on the Newark Police Department or even in New Jersey. I can tell you, though, excuse me, beer bubbles. If I would have seen a gun like that, that would have been the first thing that I could not wait to get into that report.
Yeah.
And I would have put it in there probably about 10 freaking times, man. Because I
What hand
know
it
that was my
in, what
saving
it
grace.
looked like, everything.
It was a black firearm, a silver firearm. It
Yeah.
was a revolver, or if I couldn't tell, it was big, small, medium. He had it in his hand. He was pointed right at me, dude.
Yeah,
it would have been all
with how
over.
much scrutiny is on law enforcement, you can't leave that kind of stuff out.
No, and whoever approved that report
Yeah.
to go through like that,
Yeah,
I mean,
where
you
was the
can't change it.
Where was the sergeant to say?
The sergeant say, "Hey, man, listen, you're reading a report. Okay, did you see anything that may have thought? I mean, I'm just asking because there's nothing in the report. Nope. A report's good the way it is. Okay, going through.
Okay.
See you in court. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
And listen, the people that were running from the cops, shame on them for running for the cops and having gun illegally in the vehicle and all that. I don't think you deserve to die for that. So I'm sorry that the individual died for that, and the other individual in the passenger seat who may or may not have done anything at all wrong. I'm sorry you had to go through all those injuries and everything else. But you know what, man? Don't run from the cops, and bad shit doesn't happen. And what I mean by that is, if you put yourself in a bad situation or play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. If he would have sat there when the cops first walked up and said, "Hey, man, I got a gun in the car. Do what you need to do.
Take your licks.
It's illegal.
Take your licks.
Okay, I'm going to jail." Well, now instead of going to jail for 6 months, a year, or whatever, or maybe even a suspended sentence, hell, in New York, you probably would have got off. Now you're dead.
Yeah.
So maybe not put yourself in that situation. But again, from what I saw, and these are my final comments because I know you were going to ask me. From what I saw, and with the lack of the testimony in the report that there was a gun seen, you're guilty, bro.
Yeah.
You're guilty. That was a bad shoot.
Yeah.
You can't run along beside a vehicle and start firing when there's no imminent danger of your life. I'm sorry, it's a bad shoot.
Yeah.
Just from what I saw.
Yeah. No, I for my last words, it's tough. I hate to see a cop go to jail, and I think what happened is what you were talking about earlier is you let your emotions.
Oh my God, he was here.
Yeah,
He was freaking here.
You let that just take over. You make it personal, and you in doing that, you make decisions that are not good for you or
why
for
did he
anybody
want
else.
to jump out of the car? Nobody else jumped out of the car.
Yeah.
Why does he want to jump out of the car? And not so much was fast. You see him running beside a moving car?
No.
This guy was an athlete, dude. He was fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why put yourself in that situation, bro? Wait till if they stop. You know, you do a felony stop.
He's only been on the job a couple of years though, man. He still had that piss and vinegar
but
in him.
still, dude, I was there and I didn't do crazy shit like that.
I know. All right, guys, that's about it. If you have any shows that you want to suggest, or any episodes, or any cases that you want us to look into, write a comment down below, or
because this was
email.
a great one, and thank you. I hope the person that suggested this watches this show and realizes, hey, they did the show I was talking about. It'll be on the title Make sure you put the name on the title so whoever suggested it can see it. Man, we appreciate it. We love new ideas because we're scratching our head all the time going, all right, what are we going to do next week's show about or whatever, So this, other than looking at the damn news, this really freaking helps, man. It really does help us get the titles that you want to see. It's great. I love it.
Yep. And it's retiredcopsrule@gmail and comment down below. And always remember, at Surviving the Badge,
I'm empty. We still got your 6. Salute. Please be careful out there.